So, your R exams are just around the corner, huh? Feeling that pressure? Hey, don't sweat it. I've got your back. This is going to be your fast-track guide to absolutely crushing RGraphics and GUIs. We're going to break down everything, and I mean everything, you need to know from the simplest plots to cool interactive apps. The goal? To have you walk into that exam feeling totally confident. Okay, let's jump right in.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down the fundamentals of RGraphics, the absolute must-knows. Then we'll get to the fun part, making your plots look amazing to grab those top marks. After that, we'll dip our toes into building simple GUIs with something called tcltk, and then we're going to level up with modern interactive Shiny apps. And to finish, a lightning-fast review of everything you need to remember for the exam.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the basics of RGraphics. Think of this as your foundation. You gotta know this stuff. These base functions are the quickest way to see what your data is telling you. And trust me, they are guaranteed to show up on your exam in both the written and the practical parts.
You know, the beautiful thing about R is that it has these commands that just create visuals instantly. The big three you need to know are plot, hist, and barplot. Seriously, think of these as your Swiss Army knife for data analysis. So let's break them down, one by one.
First up is the plot function. This thing is an absolute workhorse. So you start with your X and Y data, simple enough. Now when you call plot, pay close attention to that type equals B parameter. This is a classic exam detail. The B stands for both. It tells R to show you the points and the lines connecting them. After that, it's pretty straightforward, right? Main gives it a title, and call gives it some color. Simple, yet super powerful.
Next, we've got histograms, using the hist function. So when do you use this? Anytime you have just one set of numbers and you want to see how they're spread out, see the shape of your data. Now here's the exam pro tip. You have to remember the breaks parameter. It controls how many bars or bins are in your chart. Examiners love asking about this one.
Okay, moving on to barplot. Now don't get this confused with a histogram. A histogram shows the distribution of one thing. A barplot is all about comparing different things, different categories. And the magic ingredient here? It's names.arc. Without it, you just have a bunch of unlabeled bars. This is how you give each bar a name, which is kinda crucial for making sense of it all.
To wrap up the basics, let's hit two more really useful functions. A boxplot is your secret weapon for seeing the spread of your data, and more importantly, for spotting outliers. You know, those weird data points that just don't fit in. And then there's the classic pie chart. Perfect for showing parts of a whole, like percentages. Just remember to use the labels parameter so everyone knows what each slice represents.
Okay, so making a basic plot is one thing. That gets you a passing grade. But to get the top marks, you need to customize them. This section is all about making your plots look professional, clear, and super informative. This is how you impress.
Now, lean in close, because these four here are pure exam gold. You really want to commit these to memory. PCH changes the point shape. Think of it as plotting character. LWD sets the line width. CX is a bit of a weird one, but just think character expansion. It's just the size of your points. And finally, the legend function. A plot without a legend is like a map without a key. Pretty useless, right?
I can almost guarantee you'll see this on the exam. How to put multiple plots into one single view. And it's way easier than it sounds. It's just a simple three-step process. Step 1, you set up a grid with par mfrow equals c, 2. Step 2, you just run your plot commands like normal. And step 3, and I cannot stress this enough, you must reset the layout back with par mfrow equals c, 1, 1. So many people forget this and lose easy points. Don't let that be you.
So, you've made this absolutely beautiful plot. Now what? You gotta save it. It's another three-step dance. First, you open a device, like PNG or PDF. Second, you run your plot command. And third, and this is the part everyone messes up, you have to close the device with dev.off. Seriously, if you forget dev.off, you'll just get an empty file. That is a massive exam tip right there.
All right, let's shift gears. We've mastered static plots, but what if we want users to actually interact with our scripts? That's where a GUI, a graphical user interface, comes in. It lets people who don't code use your R script. We'll start with the tcltk package, which is super convenient because it's already built into R.
Let's walk through this code step by step. First, library tcltk, no surprises there. Next, tk top level creates the main window. Just think of it as an empty pop-up box. Then, tk label creates something to put inside that box. In this case, a simple text label. The official term is a widget. But here's the catch.
Nothing shows up until you use the tkpack command. That's what actually packs the label into the window and makes it visible.
Okay, tcltk is cool for simple, kind of old-school desktop tools. But if you want to build something that looks like it belongs in this decade, you need Shiny. Shiny is an absolute game changer. It lets you build interactive web apps with sliders and dashboards and all that good stuff, all from right inside R. This is a hot topic, for sure.
The absolute key to understanding Shiny is knowing that every single app is made of two parts, the UI and the server. The UI, or user interface, is the front end. It's the pretty part that the user actually sees and clicks on. The server is the back end. It's the R brain doing all the heavy lifting in the background, reacting to what the user does. I always think of it as the face and the brain. You need both to work together. Okay, so let's look at how the face and the brain actually talk to each other in the code. In the UI part, we make a slider input and we give it a name, num. Now down on the server part, we can grab the slider's current value anytime using input/num. That $sign is the magic link between them. Because it's a reactive system, whenever you move the slider, the output text just automatically updates. It's amazing. Finally, Shiny app just glues the UI and server together and launches the whole thing. Whoa, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so now it's time for the final push. This is your rapid-fire review section. If you're short on time, these next few slides are the absolute must-memorize concepts for your exam. Let's lock all this in. Okay, your 5 core plotting functions. Let's rattle them off. Plot is your general workhorse for scatter plots. Hist is for looking at distribution. Barplot is for comparing categories. Boxplot is for checking the spread and spotting outliers, and Pi is for showing percentages. Know what each one does, and you'll be set. Next up, your customization toolkit. Main, XLab, and YLab are for your titles and labels. Col is just color. Now for the mnemonics. PCH is plotting character. LWD is line width, and CEX is character expansion. Just think size. And don't forget type. P for points, L for lines, and B for both. Got it? Good! And finally, these aren't just parameters. These are the critical commands that control everything. Par mfrow sets up your multiplot layout. The incredibly important dev.off actually saves your plot to a file. For Shiny, nothing works without library Shiny, and you launch your app with Shiny App UI Server. These are the master switches. And that's it. We've journeyed all the way from a simple plot to custom visuals, and from basic pop-up windows to a full interactive web app. You now have the fundamental toolkit for both the graphics and GUI sections of your course. You've seen the code, you know the common mistakes to avoid, so the only question left is, are you ready to go ace that exam? You've absolutely got this. Good luck.